And we're live.
Okay, so that worked. I don't know what happened there. I'm just gonna press this button here. Oops, nope, I don't want to do that. Shoot. Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
You know what? The Facebook Live, it's actually waiting for us to go live on Facebook with my phone. So I don't know how that worked. I didn't have it set up properly.
Oh, okay. Well, we can share
Okay,
it later.
so we are live now. Welcome to the first of hopefully many conversations that I get to have
Mhm.
with my favorite people. Um, my favorite person is my friend Christal, who has been my friend for, is it 47 years now?
I think so, depending on how we count. I think it's been about 47 years. It's like, I think it was the year before kindergarten because,
Oh, really?
back when dinosaurs roamed the earth and we were that young, there was no pre-K. So, but I think we went to like
Oh,
vacation Bible school together and we met on the playground there.
oh my God, that's so funny. Well, we've been friends for a long damn
Long
time,
Yeah.
and this is exciting. It's exciting because we've been through a lot. We were
Mm.
really good friends through school, well,
Mhm.
best friends, and
Mhm.
then we went, to middle school. But it was, after high school, we kind of lost touch for a
Mhm.
while. But I remember it was through my first cancer journey that we started.
Mhm.
I don't know how we found each other, to be honest, but we started talking
Yeah.
again, and
Yeah.
it was really beautiful because we were going through the trenches. And
Mm.
that's really what I'm here to talk about, and that's what I'm here to share with people is that the struggle is real. Like I think it's really wonderful. We have a lot of people out there talking about their wins and how they
Mhm.
got through things, and they talk about it when they're on the other side.
Yeah.
And that's a wonderful thing. But what I really wanted, actually, this is funny because when I was sick, both times, what I did was I would make a video every day, and then I would watch the video the next day, and the point of the video was never ever give up,
Hmm.
because I didn't have anybody out there that I was watching that
Yeah.
told me never to give up. And so I actually made videos for myself every day.
Mm.
And it's interesting that when we go through challenges, we learn what works for us, and then
Mhm.
when we're on the other side of it, we really get this, like, it's like this soul's call that we want to help other
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
So that's kind of really my big thing right now. It's like I just want people to know that it's okay to not be okay all the time, that it's and to actually know the struggle is real. Like, no matter
Yes.
who we are, we're struggling, in some way, shape, or form.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that's what I really appreciate about our friendship is we've gone through so much these last few years. And, I've been on the floor crying. I've been sobbing my guts out to
Mhm.
you, telling
Yeah.
me like
Yeah.
how horrible everything is and how scary it all is. And then what I find is so beautiful is after you have those beautiful, open, honest conversations, it's like you let the hurt out, and the love always flows in, and I'm always actually really freaking surprised,
Mhm.
at like, "Oh my god, I can't believe how good I feel when my life is falling apart." Like, it's so wonderful. So not only do I wanna have these conversations with people that I love,
Mhm.
but I also want to encourage people to have their own conversations, because that's a big thing for me, is to speak it out and have a space for the love to flow in.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, it's so interesting, so just for some context for whoever's wondering, when we say we've been friends and we've been journeying, we've lived in opposite ends of the world much of that time, literally, right?
Right.
I mean, tonight I'm in Mexico City, you're in Saskatchewan. I call Toronto home. Not there that often, but that's what I call home. But all that time, one of the things that we've been able to take advantage of is technology, like so many people, but we use it in a very unique way because we leave each other voice notes. And what I have found, and what I've told my husband, I've told countless friends this. I said that my friendship with Chantelle is so interesting because it's so we have a very responsive friendship. So we'll leave each other messages, and even like it's not that we're in the same place at the same time in our lives, it's that we're sharing the same space in life together, and so there's like an ability to be able to hold space for each other through that. And we will leave sometimes like, oh my gosh, what's the longest? Like, oh my God, probably 26, 28-minute messages. And then I'm like, I don't know if it's going to cut me off. So I'll make a new message. Or I have had those times where I've left you this message and I'm sobbing and crying. And then I realize my finger actually didn't press record. Now I've gotten over it. And then like what you said, it's fascinating, beautiful gift that you're right. I don't remember how we reconnected after all those years, but the point is we did, you know.
Mhm.
And, not only did we reconnect, but we reconnected in a way that was more meaningful than if we had been next door neighbors or in the same place. Like we came our friendship came back together in a very unique way. And this is why I say all that, because when we're talking about like the struggle is real, often we think we will look at people and they can be so eloquent, or they will be able to speak so succinctly to something, or their gifts are so can seem so obvious to someone on the outside looking in. And what we may not realize is that they're walking with a limp, and it's because of that limp from whatever they've gone through that they can be trusted. Number one, because they know what it is to experience loss or pain or both. Or, I mean, they are kind of the same in a lot of ways. Um, and there is something in us that desires not like misery loves company, but there's something in us that desires to be seen. Either seen or heard, or to share that space. And so that's what I think is so special about our friendship, and that's what I wish for. That's what I wish for everybody, actually.
Well, and the interesting thing, I've written a lot of books through the years, and one of the biggest things that actually came out, I don't know which, actually, I think it was the book that I called Heal.
Mhm.
Um, the word heal to me stands for hold them,
Mhm.
encourage them,
Mhm.
accept them, and love them.
Mhm.
And that is really what a good friendship is. It's
Mhm.
just like holding a space for people because we can't hold each other physically.
Yeah.
But when you were talking, I was starting to like tear up because I was thinking about, I can't remember what year it was, but it was after my mom had passed away. And I was at Waskasiu on one of my favorite trails. And I was just having a really, really hard time. And I remember like, I just felt so lonely. And it might have been my birthday actually too, because it was winter time and I hugged a tree. Like I literally stopped and hugged a tree because I just felt so alone. And I was saying out loud, if just one person could believe in me, I'll be okay. And I did my walk and I sat down on the little bench that I like to sit down on and I was watching the little river. And you left me a message. And you were in Toronto on whatever freeway that is. And your message was, hey, I'm in the middle of a fucking snowstorm. I can't even really see where I'm going, but something told me to call you. And your exact words were, I just want you to know that I believe in you and I love you. And I was like, holy fuck. Like, how the fuck is, like, I mean, I've been doing this work for 19 years, but every time something like that happens, it's just like, wow.
Yeah.
We're so connected to the people that
Yeah.
we love.
Yeah. Yeah. And so connected to people that are open to grow and learn, I think,
Mm.
too. Um, yeah.
I'm not trying to cut you off, but that
Mhm.
is so powerful that you just
Mhm.
said that because the way we're talking, people could be like, oh, yeah, you guys just vent and complain. Like, do you know what I
Yeah, yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
But what's so beautiful about it is we leave the messages because we're speaking it out in order to get it out of our system
Mhm,
and to see eventually, we know eventually there's going to be a time where we get through the fuckery,
mhm.
we look back and we see the beauty in it.
Yeah, totally.
So there's a point to the conversations. It's not just like, holy fuck, I'm having a bad day. You
Yeah,
know, this motherfucker did this.
yeah,
It's like, you know, sometimes we do say shit like that though,
yeah.
but it's not, you know, we're not feeding each other stories, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Ah, that's such a great point, not feeding each other stories, because that is actually what it means to hold space with someone,
Oh.
right? So if I hold space for you or with you, it means that in this place, I'm here with you, but I'm not getting pulled into whatever he is pulling you down. You know, I'm gonna hold steady. It's like my hands on the wheel or the rudder, like, or not the rudder, but like the thing on the ship, right? Like I'm just gonna hold it steady so that you can have space to vent or do whatever. Um, and but I'm going to keep this more I'm truly going to keep this a neutral space, and I know that we have both done that for each other so often. And I think that that's what's really interesting about the way that we do this. I think maybe back in the day the solution, or the way that people may have had friendships like this may have been letter writing, right? Like people that had,
Oh.
before there is the opportunity to do this, because it is like a conversation, but it's a processing ability to be able to talk through something, to be able to feel it, to be able to validate what someone is saying or affirm them, but not get sucked in and have a bitch fest. You know, like that's just those.
Mm.
I know that those things are tempting to do, but there's enough things like that happening in the world. Why we have this one wild and precious life, why would we get caught up in doing that, you know, and just perpetuating the problem, essentially, like just like stirring it up. So I think that that's probably part of it. And you know, you when you called this you know, this conversation today, that the struggle is real, i think I think that there is a perception that if I'm really trying to, if I really believe that I'm capable of manifesting and generating and creating a better life for myself, that I'm going to lose the connection or lower my vibration or my chances of this happening if I'm honest about it, right? Which is like a silly thing
Oh.
to do it. It sounds silly out loud, but that is something that I think people struggle with. And I want to offer just a bit of opportunity and grace for people to have with themselves, that to be honest with yourself about where you're at in that moment has doesn't need to mean that you're ungrateful, or that you're not living a life of gratitude, or you're just being honest with where you're at. And and somehow there is something that is almost like, mm, like supernatural or transmutation, like that when we say something out loud and we give it a name and we call the thing, then it's like we can release it and let it go. And sometimes those are easier done in the way that you and I have our conversations, where we leave a note, or maybe if someone is a writer and they're like messaging or whatever it is. But the point is to allowing yourself to call the thing is the gift
Mm.
you give yourself. It's not taking away from what you're doing in your life. It's allowing yourself to be like, this is where I am. It's not indicative of where I'm going, but it is something that I'm experiencing in this moment.
Well, oh, it's so interesting that you said that. What, like, for when I was doing energy medicine, we studied a lot of Chinese medicine,
Mhm,
and there's the five elements, and it's
mhm,
kind of this wheel. And these last couple months, I've been looking at it, and I've been writing, like, you know, so the first one is fear, is the water. Then we
mhm,
go into the wood, which is anger. And then we go into fire, which is joy, sadness. Then you go into worry, which is, or sorry, then the next one is earth, which is worry. And then the one after that is metal, which is like control
Mhm.
and letting go. And I've been looking at it and looking at it. And all of a sudden, one day I was like, holy fuck,
Hmm.
these are the steps to
Mm.
release what we're going through. The
Yeah.
first step is to face what we're afraid of,
Mm. Mhm.
so we face it and we're like, fuck. Like, then you get angry because you don't like it. Like, somebody hurt you, or, this is happening in the world, or whatever it is. Like, you get angry. But if you don't get angry, you're not going to go to the other steps.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like, anger actually moves us
Yeah.
from one place to
Yeah.
another. And a lot of people, think, well, if I'm angry, then I'm bitchy, or I'm this, or I'm that. And like you said, oh, I can't manifest anything because now I'm speaking badly. No, you got to speak that shit out, because otherwise you're just thinking it and then you're attracting it more.
Mhm.
So if you actually speak it, you're getting it out and you're no longer thinking it.
Mhm.
And then you go into sadness, because you don't want to stay stuck in anger, but there's a
Right.
point where you scream it out, or whatever you say, and then you cry it out. And once you cry it out, you're really like, that's another level of release. So more joy fills you, more peace fills you. Then you get to the space of turning the worry into wisdom.
Mm. Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that's when you see it all had to happen to create the strength or the resilience, or whatever it was in your life. And then you get to the space where you surrender, you let it go, and then you are moved where you're supposed to be. Like, it's just, I don't know, just seeing that lately is just really powerful, because then being able to see the whole cycle shows me that, because I was a very angry person. Like, oh my God. I've been
Mhm.
thinking about this lately, like how much I hated people and judged people. And um, I was very overreactive as a parent, as everything.
Mhm.
And now I'm seeing, like, okay, I spent so much time healing those parts of me. But now I just get to be like, but there was a part of that was healthy. And now, because I was such an angry person, what we tend to do is like, okay, well, now all anger is bad. It's not. Like, it's so, I remember one of the books that I wrote, I can't remember, it's the one, I think it's called Here with God. It was when I was diagnosed with breast cancer,
Mm.
after I had already healed from the first cancer. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, how the fuck is this happening
Yeah.
again? And I was like, I don't know why I wasn't talking to friends about it, but I remember saying, if I don't sit and write this out, I'm gonna fucking explode.
Mhm.
And I just started writing, and I just wrote so honestly. Like, the first chapter was called What the Fucking Fuck. And I was just like letting it out. But
Yes.
it was weird, because at the end of every chapter, then I started to write, like, okay, but I don't have this and I don't have that. And, getting my breast removed, well, that's royal fuckery, but it's not a leg.
Mhm.
Like, I was always able to find something to be grateful for.
Mhm.
And so that's where I started to see that when I let it out, I actually reached a space where I was grateful and humble and happy.
So there's like when you were saying that, I had like a visual of I don't know if my hands are showing up or not, but if you hold your hands like this and you're getting water poured into it, then it will only ever if you close it up and you hold it, no more water can come in. And if you just had like dirty hands and you were if the water was pouring in but you did this, it would oh sorry, you can't see what I'm doing. It would eventually clean, right? And all of this
Mm.
in enclosed contained inside of this would actually be clean water, and that's just what's clean water's coming in. And when you were talking about that, that's kind of the idea that's the visual that I had was that when those things arise, those emotions and those the anger, I right now there are a lot of people as we're having this conversation that do, and rightfully so. There's a collective righteous, truly righteous, not like fake religious shit righteous, but true
Mm.
righteous anger at injustice, from genocides to murders to all the things that we're collectively experiencing. There is a righteous anger. There's an anger, and anger is it's not the ultimate highest vibration, obviously, of emotions, but we've it's been vilified, and it's been
Mm.
especially, I will say, especially as those of us who are raised as traditionally raised as female, that anger is not something that we're allowed to do because we don't have any kind of outlets for it. When we were kids,
Mm.
there wasn't even things like hockey that girls could play. It was like
Right.
net, it was like a girl's version of something. It was, do you know what I mean? It was all, we were trained, and through not even so much our parents, but we were just conditioned and educated to be nice. Be nice.
Mm.
Nice and kind are two different things. Nice people
Mhm.
don't speak up for anything. Kind people understand that they can use anger for forward movement, and it can motivate them into something else. People that recognize that, understand that I can be angry and still kind, as opposed to I can be nice and suppress it, and then it comes out in all these weird, bizarre ways, or it hurts ourselves and it turns on us and literally becomes the dis-eases in our body, right? So
Right.
there's those two. I'm looking creepier and creepier because it's getting dark out in my I forgot to turn on the light in the room. um, so, and again, hearing you say that, what that anger did for you was like, yeah, it moved you forward. It moved you forward. And I would never tell someone that they shouldn't be angry, because first
Mhm.
of all, I don't know where, and that is just my I'm here in this world, in my, whatever you want to call it, professional roles that I play, and all those other things that we do, the calling that is 1,001 things and changes all the time. I would never be so arrogant or presumptuous to tell someone that they shouldn't be angry, because anger, like what you said, is a part of it's a part of a journey, healing. And a healing journey doesn't mean it's like one and done, right? Healing journey is like it's continually happening. There's continual touch points on that journey. And so I think that, when I think about back to our connection, and what my wish for is for the people that are hearing what we're talking about, is that I wish for them the kind of people in their lives that aren't going to tell them they shouldn't be angry, but that are going to
Mm.
hold that space and then say, okay, and now what? And believe and see them as being whole humans, whether they're angry or they're not, whether they're losing their shit or they're not, whether they are making good choices or they're not, that I hold space and I see you as whole. That's all I need. That's all I need to do. And if I can do that for you, and you can do that for me, then that is essentially what changes the world. And I'm not trying to be like Pollyanna about that. The two lies that we are conditioned to believe are the lies of separation and lack. They are
Mm.
predominant everywhere. We're conditioned to believe that we're separated. So everything from religion tries to make us feel like we're separated from our divine, our own divinity. We're separated by sin, and sin is somehow made to believe that if you like do, anyways, let's not even get into that. It's another live conversation for another time. So we're separated to think that we're so different from each other that we need to think the exact same. We need to have the same perspective on everything in order to connect. We don't.
Mm.
We're conditioned to think that we're separated from people by age and generation and experience and race and locations and these constructs of countries and all these things. There's life, the systems that we're in continually push us to think that we're separated. And that results in us feeling like in that then feeling lack. But if we can understand that there is nothing that separates us from each other or from ourselves other than the lies that we're choosing, that we're believing or we've been led to believe, then we can not only connect with ourselves, but we connect with each other in a very amazing way. So, and sorry, I just wanted to say one more thing. You and I do probably, if we were to list out all the things, we don't see the same on all these things. Doesn't matter.
Mm-mm.
I don't need to know. I don't need to know that we see the same in all these things to be in solidarity with who you are as a human, to see you as whole, and to know that I only want the best for you no matter what.
That is such a good point, because what I was kind of thinking about when you were talking is um, how we don't ever have advice for each other.
Mhm. Oh
And,
yeah.
like I just went through a situation for the last 6 months, and it was so like there was so much of my trauma that was being triggered through
Mhm.
it. And it was so obviously, what's the word? Like I was just on this pendulum, like, oh, he's the nicest guy in the world, and I think he's just so wonderful, and
Mhm.
I just love being around him. And then 2 days later, I'm like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with this guy, but I don't want to be around him, and I don't even think it's a good idea. And it was just like back and forth and back and forth. And you always held a space. You never judged, and you never had advice. You just spoke what you know about about uh what am I trying to about relationships,
Mhm.
whatever it is. But that's a really important thing, because every time we have advice for another person, it's really always for us.
Mhm.
So, sometimes, if you're speaking about something and I'm like, oh, but, if I have some kind of piece of advice, now I've learned to ask myself afterward, what does that mean for me?
Mhm.
Because if I'm going to give you a piece of advice while you're in the middle of your shitstorm, I'm literally pulling you out of your ability to navigate through it,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Totally. I am cutting your agency. I'm cutting short your own agency and your ability to find your way
Mm.
through. And I'm not seeing you as whole, right? I don't believe you're whole.
Right.
If I think that you need my advice, then I've already, first of all, I've judged you because I think that you need what I have, which is foolish. Um, and advice is like, I don't know, like thinking about that word is like, I think that the only way that advice can be received is permission based. If someone asks for your advice, then right?
Like
But
what
like
should I and like this is actually really huge that we're getting into this, because
Mhm,
I feel like this is another one of those generational uh misconstrued things, or
mhm,
whatever.
mhm,
Like
mhm.
that we have to have advice, or we're not a good friend, or we're not.
Yeah.
It almost seems like it feels like we need a job when we're a friend with somebody, but that it's the exact opposite.
Mhm,
Because like we're saying right now, if I'm asking for your advice, it means I'm not spending the time in my own heart listening to the
mhm.
truth. And if you're giving advice, you're stepping on my ability to figure it out. Because even with our kids, like, oh my god, like how many times have we seen this with our kids?
Yeah.
Like we can watch them literally be on a fucking train wreck, to like we know it's going to end
Yeah.
up to be a train wreck. But if we tell them, they're not going to listen.
No.
And I actually had this awareness the other day, because I was going through a really tough time. And what I realized is, and I could be totally wrong about this, and I'm not trying
Mhm,
to be right, but the only way that I can really feel peace in my heart is to know that every person on the planet has come into this space as some kind of a soul contract.
mhm.
And again, I don't know if it's true, but it just feels like there is this purpose for all of us. Not like we're looking for the purpose, but
Mhm.
that we've chosen where we want to be, who our
Yeah.
parents are going to be, who our
Mhm.
children are going to be. Our children have chosen us. And the reason I found that this was really powerful the other day to me was I don't have to fix anybody's shit. I don't have to feel sorry for anybody. I don't have to it's like it just unhooked me from everybody else's problems. It's like, okay, I have seen so many times in my own life when I go through my own shit or I see my kids go through theirs, they come to a place where they're so wise because of it.
Mhm. Yeah.
So for me to think that other people that they need my sympathy, like this isn't about not being kind, like you
Yep.
said,
Yep.
but I don't have to worry about anybody else's problems because I didn't choose it. They actually did on some
Mhm.
level. Like, you know what I mean?
Mhm. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, and exactly, like, it doesn't because kindness transcends things, and you can be kind and not caught up in someone else's problems, but you can be kind and respond in what's true to you as well.
And, let's just kind of sit with that for a second because it's so huge.
Mhm.
Is that something that women have been taught?
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
That we have to be kind? Like, that's not nurturing
No.
to take on other people's problems. Like, remember the whole thing, like, you can't get to the top of the mountain if you're holding everybody else's fucking suitcases?
Mhm.
And it was just like, oh my God, you mean I can't carry other people's problems? I can't worry? No. Like, we're not even supposed to be carrying our own worries, let
Mhm.
alone somebody else's.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that that's interesting because it's such a beautiful time to be able to love ourselves enough
Mhm.
to break ourselves free from the fight, the fear, and the fix of everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, it's not like the black and white, like, oh, okay, I'm just perfect now. No, it's like it's going to come in waves. You're going to, like I was trying to explain to someone yesterday, our trauma is always triggered.
Mhm.
And when it's triggered, it's our job to sit with it and be like, okay, why am I feeling this?
Exactly. Yeah.
What am I believing? Where are the wounds? Instead of like, oh my God, I'm so angry and this is such bullshit. And, we do that for a bit.
Mhm.
And then it's like, okay, now pull yourself back, dust yourself off. And now like, what are the thoughts that I'm believing?
Yeah, the curiosity, right? Curiosity is a powerful, powerful tool. And curiosity doesn't hold any judgment. So we can stay curious
Ooh.
about like, oh, isn't that how fascinating? I once heard a guy say that how fascinating that I had that thought, or how fascinating that when that person said that I felt this or whatever, like it's
Mm.
curiosity. And the other thing I was thinking about is, and I'm just noticing the time, I don't know how how long, but was Louise Hay. She what You Can Heal Your Life, I think it's a book like
Oh,
25 years ago,
right.
something like that. She calls it mirror work, and she talks about holding up a mirror to yourself and telling yourself, "I love you." And sure, like you can it means different things to different people. It could be that if people are in a place where their self-concept physically or mentally, emotionally, whatever is in a difficult spot, that's one level. But to truly just be able to look at yourself and say, I love you and I want the best for you. And I believe in the choices that you make. I love who you are. I love who you're becoming. I love who you were. I love that version of you. And just recognizing that there is nothing, it can feel awkward at first when you do mirror work. But the thing is that when you realize that you can love yourself, then like the rest is the small stuff. Right.
Well, this is actually really cool that you bring that up because I'm really very interested in the subconscious mind.
Mhm.
And I've, for I don't even, probably these last 19 years, my question always is, why am I thinking those thoughts?
Mhm.
And when you were saying that, I love the practice and what you're saying, but you know what's going to happen is every time you say I love you, there's going to be a voice that's like, but you're a stupid idiot.
Mhm.
Or you
Yeah.
like, look what you did last week,
Yeah.
and you don't even know how to parent your kids. And so when we do something like that, it's like, now watch what shows up, because that
Mhm.
is our journey
Yeah.
to heal that.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
then at some point, when we heal it enough, we're going to believe it, and
Mhm.
actually really love ourselves. And then we don't have to say it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so there's one thing that I wanted to talk about also. Do you have until 7?
Mhm.
I forgot to tell you. Okay. Um, I'm just
I
like,
didn't
you
know how
want to
long
come
yet.
and talk for a while? Okay, so now we're talking about how to have conversations with people that you're close to. But what I want to share also is something that is really dear to both of us
Mhm.
and life changing for both of us, is the practice of, you call it meditation and I call it heart connection,
Mhm.
but we're basically doing the same
Mhm.
thing, because that is how we get, like, to me, the space between our thoughts is where the love lives and truth speaks. That's when we start to feel the peace in our minds. And the beautiful thing about meditation is, if you put your hand on your heart and you, like, things are going to start to kick up.
Mhm.
So you're going to be angry, you're going to be afraid, like all your doubts, like the thoughts generate the emotions. So I see it as this two-part experience where we start to, get to the space between the thoughts, but we also get to the peace behind the emotions, the
Mhm.
wounds. And so yeah, like, if we kind of talk about that, because I feel like a lot of people don't understand it. They don't know what the benefit is.
Mhm.
And unless you experience it, you really won't understand it either. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So the word meditation. So now you've got me going on a my favorite thing in the world, and I want to just put some context around this from a personal perspective. Is the fact that I am the traditional version of Christal was the most unlikely candidate for meditation. I'm just going to say that.
Mm.
I'm an extrovert. I've always scored basically 100%. I'm a very strong personality. I'm a strong astrological mess as well. And I think there's like some ADHD tossed in there for good measure. Um, but so I say that because there is nothing, I'm not naturally, I wouldn't have naturally been inclined. Some people that are good with spending time by themselves all day long, people would think, okay, they're the people that would naturally be able to meditate.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
Okay.
right.
So I am not that. I am not that person. And the word meditation actually means, I love this. I learned this from Dr. Joe Dispenza, and it changed how I saw things, to become familiar with.
Ooh.
That's what
Oh.
it literally means, is to become familiar with. And meditation is obviously, it's an ancient practice. I think that probably more cultures are more associated with meditation because it's more prevalent in what we've learned about those cultures. But there is not a single place on earth that people have not been drawn to meditation
Mm.
to become familiar with. And the thing about meditation, and there's different elements of it, I know, and there's different types or whatever people want to call it. I use both guided meditations and I use just like music in the background, and I actually put on like the little iPad so that I can go in.
Mm.
Um, what are they called? Like the eye fluffies, like I have ones that look like foxes. So my husband says sometimes when he comes out and I'm sitting there with the fox. But so
Oh
so
God, I want a picture of
yeah.
that.
Um, but the thing about meditation that I didn't expect was how my identity would I would be able to identify different, I guess, with who I
Mm.
truly am. So one, I mean, I know there's all kinds of science around it and everything. So there's different types, right? Some people do use apps where they learn because they think that 5 minutes, in the beginning, I've had people say to me, 3 minutes feels like such a crazy stretch for them. There's no way they could do that. Like, honestly. And I'm not judging you, because if you've never had the opportunity to turn down the dial, you can be
Mm.
scared of, if you turn down the dial and what's outside, you can be scared about what dial is going to start turning up inside, right? Like, we live
Right.
in all kinds of survival mechanisms. We champion survival mechanisms, but holy shizzle, I don't want to live in survival. That's like people that are drowning that keep on pulling other people down. I want to thrive, right? I want to be the person that's floating on the top and saying, "Here, jump in with me. This is going places." Like, so meditation for me has provided many things. I would say a couple of the top things about meditation for anybody that is maybe not familiar with it. It means to become familiar. So what it has done for me is to not be scared of what is there. When there's no external sounds, I'm not scared of what is there. And
Wow.
I'm also not going to judge myself for what is there. And I'm not going to judge myself for the chatter. Or sometimes I'm meditating and all of a sudden I realize I am thinking about, like, I don't know, like breakfast or lunch, or holy crap, I forgot to call that person back, or like, all like that happens, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, I'm just going to let that go and I'm going to come back. And in the beginning, it is going to feel uncomfortable because you are not familiar yet with the feeling of where in your body, the physical sensation
Mm.
of being in your heart. It is a totally different sensation. The sensation of getting beyond space and time, and not actually wanting to leave that space. Like, I don't know if that's a familiar thing. Like, I like, sometimes I have this, I'm like, wow, I get the yogis or the people that are like, they experience so much that they don't even want to come back to the real world.
Mhm.
I've kind of had those. It's taken away my fear of a lot of things, taken away my fear of not being able to control things. Because we can't anyways. That's also just a false attachment, or like a hurtful attachment we have to false things. Um, and I would say that it has transformed my relationship with myself, because I realize that I am the source of whatever is generated in my life. And knowing that gives you such confidence in your decision making, and in being able to trust that even when things are not going the way that I would want them to trust that I am going to find a way through, because I am the source of the way through.
Mm.
I don't know if that makes sense or not, but
It does. Like we could well, and every month that we do this together, I know we're gonna talk about this because we could
Mhm,
just talk about this for hours and hours
mhm,
and hours.
mhm,
And it's so fascinating because there's such a varying degree.
mhm,
The very first time, it was in 2016 when I heard Kyle Cease say, get up in the morning and spend an hour meditating before your
mhm,
day starts. And I'm
mhm,
like, I want to fucking throat punch you
mhm,
because that sounds like the fucking worst thing that I could ever think of
mhm,
is to sit by myself because I was the overthinker, the angry person. And I got into the tub the next morning and it was about 59 minutes and 27 seconds of rage.
yeah,
Like, I wanted to punch the walls. Like, it was like there was
mhm,
something, it felt like I was an animal, a caged
mhm,
animal, and I just wanted to punch things, and I hated him for, but there was just this spark of something
mhm,
near the end, and I didn't know what it was, but it was something that brought me back the next morning.
mhm.
And then there was a little bit more of the spark
Yeah,
and then a little bit more. And now, because that's 2016, so I don't even know how many fucking years that is now, but it's just gotten to the point where, for me, I just get into this space where I just know everything's okay. But it's not immediately. And that's why, a lot of people, they do the 3 minutes and the 5 minutes. And like you said, that's great. But what I've noticed many, many, many times, even now after all these years of
Mhm,
doing it, it still takes about 40 or 45 minutes for me to get into those spaces
mhm.
where I'm just feeling held. So that's why I always, it's like you can do it for 10 minutes if you want, but if you do it for the hour, you're really reshaping your neural pathways,
Every your neural
your
pathways, yeah. Mhm,
like your receptors on your cells, which is really truly helping us attract whatever it is we're attracting to
mhm.
us. So yeah, like we can do the 5 minutes, the 10 minutes, but holy shit, if you really commit to the 1 hour,
Yeah,
your life is going to
yeah.
change. And the interesting thing when you said, because I've been catching myself a lot lately. It's like, but I don't feel like I'm just doing meditation. It feels like it's more because I always
Mhm,
felt like I'm so in my heart.
mhm,
But when you said meditation means to get familiar with, it's to get familiar with all of it.
mhm.
And I didn't know that. So now the word meditation is a really good label to what I've been doing. I
Yep.
thought I needed to come up with some new term, but that's exactly what I've been doing all this time, and I didn't know.
Yeah, and, I also when we were talking about the 3 and the 5 minutes, um, I think that while I guess maybe people need that to not be so scared, I also think that a healthy dose of being scared of where the edges are, the limits on what we're willing to try is also how we grow.
Mhm.
And it has only been I mean, we've always probably wanted instant gratification, that's part of our human nature, but it's only been in the last 50 years that instant gratification has been so instant, and even it's only been in the last 20 years or 10 years that it's been so, like, right now, you know?
Oh,
And
right.
and so the idea of people thinking that all it means is to sit quietly for 3 minutes and it's one more thing I've checked off is okay, we could call that an entry point, kind of like the door's really wide for that, like, if like it's a maybe like a wide net at that point. But I I would encourage people to not be scared to actually try like what you said, like the to sit through that. We have been numbed. We have been allowed to feed the fear of the unknown in moments like that because we can numb everything.
Mm,
So I notice this not even in meditation. Well, some people say that running is meditation. And I noticed this
mm,
when I started running. I'm running through Toronto and I have my headphones on and I'm listening to music. Okay, so arguably, maybe I'm using a little bit of an escape too, and I'm not just running. I'm not a total
mhm.
purist. But what I did notice when I'm running is that 95% of the people, and I'm not even using that as like what's the word? Hyperbolic number. 95% of the people that are walking on the street or standing on the street are on their phone. So
Wow.
there's an immediate numbing that people are reaching for because they don't even know. So, like, they don't even know how to stand through a light to change, and they're reaching for their phone. You go to a restaurant, any restaurant, no matter where you are, I notice this everywhere, and you look around, and if a family is out together or couples that are together or whatever, people are on their phones, and we know this. We know that this is what people are always talking about. But that to me is indicative of we do not know how to be with ourself, let alone someone else.
Oh, yeah.
And meditation has become the most powerful partner, collaborator, friend to me to learn how to be with myself.
Mm-hmm. Oh, something really huge about this also is the subconscious mind is programmed from all of our past. So it hangs on to all of the trauma, all the lies, what's wrong with us, what's wrong with the world, how our parents treated one
Yep.
another, how they treated themselves, how we were treated. It's all lies.
Mhm.
And we're listening to it all the time. 95% of our thoughts are actually subconscious.
Mhm.
Now, when we're in a state of meditation, like the deep states, right? Like
Mhm.
where we're actually just feeling held by the universe and
Yep.
everything's just
Mhm.
working out, what I continue to feel is I'm okay, the world is okay, I'm going to be okay, I'm safe,
Mhm.
which is then proving to those programs, the neural pathways, the subconscious mind, that it's not right.
Yep.
And it's not, like you said, the one and done. This is a daily process. And if we feel safe enough
Mhm.
and held and we have confidence that everything's working according to a plan, then over time we start we're not believing the things that are untrue, like we're not safe and we're not lovable and
Yep.
we're failures and we're
Yep.
stupid. And really the only way that you can measure this is the thoughts going on in your mind. And even in some of my books I wrote about my experiences and how I always had this voice tempting me to take my own life, that I was just a dirty whore, that I was a fucking failure, that my kids are better off with me dead. Like that's where I've come from.
Mhm.
So, it's like we're the only ones that actually know how much we shift and change, but it's
Mhm.
like even the subtle changes are huge changes when we're looking at just being able to love ourselves.
Okay, so there is a topic for, I just did a video on this, and we can talk about this next time, um, about the cognitive scripts that we use on ourselves
Oh,
and the epic script. And I have been thinking so much about the epic script and how, this addiction to thinking that it's all or nothing, how
oh, that
how
was
it
so
gets in
good.
the way. Mhm.
I
Yeah.
love that. You know what? I'm actually going to write that down
Mhm.
because when you said that the other day, I was like, "Holy shit, that is so me." And I love that. So yeah,
Mhm.
we'll save that for next time because that's a big, big, big
Mhm.
one for
Amazing.
everyone. Oh, that was super fun.
That
You
was
know what? I've got my little deck here, and what I was going to do is just do a quick little
yes.
thing to see what comes up. Okay, so the first card that showed up, this is my Spirit Speaks deck, and I don't
Mhm.
want to spend too much time talking about it. But what we're trying to do is create a more loving relationship with the divine masculine, is
Mhm.
the focus of this card.
Mm.
And so what's showing up is saying that you've been stuck in fear, and that, so this is fear, is
Mhm.
preventing you from experiencing peace.
Mm.
And this is creating chaos in your life. So I love that because that's literally what we're talking about. And then the practical action moving forward says it's time to be here. Breathe, place your hand on your heart, feel your breath, feel your emotions,
Mm.
notice your thoughts, stay in this moment. I love that.
I love that.
Yeah. And
And I
then
love,
oh, sorry.
so tell us, finish the rest.
So the last card, there's always a message from Spirit, and it says, "Dear child, you are so very special to us. We will protect you and your loved ones. We are keeping you all safe. Know that you're divinely loved and protected."
Oof.
That's really beautiful because if I were to look at like my greatest fear,
Mhm.
it's my kids not being safe.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say.
So I would say that these cards are always telling me to just,
Mhm.
be in the moment and find that peace, because it's our choice. It's not our choice what happens in our lives, but it's our choice to find the peace and the joy through it, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so beautiful.
Wow. I love
Okay, my beautiful friend.
that.
Thank you.
Thank you. I feel complete after this conversation. Thank you.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. And what I'm actually, I did Cody Demaray's podcast, one of my friends, last month, and I was kind of nervous, and I don't usually get nervous about stuff like this. And he's like, "We're just going to sit down and have a conversation. I don't even know if anyone's going to watch it." And so a couple times today when we were talking, I was like thinking about who's watching, and then I was like, "Oh no, that's not the point. The point is to have these conversations."
Yeah. And the people will find it. I think that the right people are going to hear this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And I look
Oh,
forward to the next conversation. Thank you for
yeah.
making this space. Thank you for
Thank
all that you
you.
do. Chantelle, I just want to say thank you for all that you do and all that you bring to the world and how you show up fully present to everything that you do. And it's it's inspiring and it's so whole. You are so whole in how you show up, and I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful to call you my friend and to be able to have these kind of conversations. Thank you.
Oh, goodness. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love you.
I love you too. Mwah.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. And yeah, we'll do this again.
Yes, we will. Okay.
Okay. I love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Okay. Bye. Oops.